how do you balance knowing your worth and then taking opportunities? Sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes the line can be blurred.
If I see that me doing something for free can lead me to either adding to my portfolio or meeting another person that can potentially get me somewhere else, I do it because I know on the other side of it, I'm gonna get it.
Facts. That's facts.
Hey, man.
Say, man.
This is A Chord Podcast. This is Odell.
Yes, sir. It's Rhymez, the real Delta, baby.
That's your boy, Tez.
And like we said, bro, this is episode 1 of the A Chord Podcast, man. So it's a great day. I'm feeling good. How y'all feeling, man?
Best by best.
Amazing.
Okay, them boys, got a mouthpiece on them. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Hey, man, let's start off with our first topic, man. Let's go with something lighter on the side.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about what we thought was cool as kids, bro.
Okay.
But now it's just like cringy as hell. Cringy as hell.
Cool as kids, but cringy as hell.
Yeah. I can go first.
You go first. I got some stuff in mind, but like
I gotta think on it for sure.
Man, I used to think this shit was so cool, bro. Like every time I go to the barber, I get my little lineup or whatever. And one time, my barber was like, bro, let's do a double hairline.
Hell nah.
Bro, I used to thought I was rocking that shit, bro. My shit looked like Tetris on God.
Bro said he thought it was Tetris.
Double hairline's crazy.
Yeah, double hairline, bro. That shit was,
Hey, man, you
sad
know what?
times.
I just thought of one, man. Hey, shout out to K-Swiss. Who remember K-Swiss, bro? The all-white K-Swiss joints, bro. We keeping it on the subject of shoes. You got Hillies, but no cap. I still ride them motherfucker like.
On God, I would.
I used to be in the mall just squish, squish.
Great source of transportation, bro.
I'm talking my knees toe up,
Oh,
bro.
my
Like,
goodness. I don't even know if I can think of one. I don't know. We're gonna have to come back on that one.
I got another one. Them damn Mohawks everybody used to have.
Bro, I was about to say that shit. I used to rock the Mohawks,
That's
bro.
actually a good one.
cap.
Nah,
I know
then you had the look. I'm going out. Look, the Nike Elites with the spirit, like the Nike Elite socks fade. You had to like.
Oh no! Wait! Hold on now. The elite socks, the elite socks is still they still smooth for athletes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the way we used to wear them though, cause we had an Aeropostale with the shorts, and then
Oh,
you
yeah,
had the
yeah,
Nike
yeah,
Elite.
yeah,
Then you
yeah.
had them be on some Sperry's or something.
Facts.
But nah, bro, it's so wild, bro.
So what, we gonna come back to you on that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think of something. I can't think of anything right now.
All right, man. Ted's usually got the sauce on the ideas. I don't know why he blank.
Off the dome, usually, man.
Yeah.
So let's get to our first topic, man. And it's gonna be the importance of networking. We all got our own business inquiries and deal with business on a day-to-day basis. So let's just start with what's something that you've learned when you networked with someone and you took a loss, and how you learned from that.
My immediate thought went back to a couple of artists that I actually tried to help out.
Yeah.
And I still would put this into networking and not like just the collaborative or loss category, because like I saw me and those artists, we saw the talent in each other. And at those times, like it's happened about probably like 2-3 times. Saw the talent in each other, but I was the main one. Even when my platforms, were way lower than what they are at now. I was already out there making certain moves. I had the experience. So, yeah, and in those cases, like I would pay for studio time, pay for photo shoots. Yeah, man, and even like maybe like a little promotional thing, and like they wouldn't show up or.
Yeah, facts. Putting your time and resources into somebody and it's not coming back
Yeah,
around. Yeah.
Are they not giving that same energy? And it's just like, man, I've always moved off of blind faith with this.
Yeah.
And like not blind as far as like not seeing the potential in my talent, but blind as far as like outside of the obstacles and outside of not knowing like the destined path that, just keeping my foot on the pedal and I will get there.
Yeah.
And so at those times I'm working, minimum wage jobs and et cetera. I mean, I barely have anything to give, but I'm still pouring out of my cup into yours.
Right.
And you know,
want people on the same
and you can't
path.
even meet me. You just halfway when I'm paying for these things, or I'm putting my time and energy out there that I really don't have myself. So that'll be like
That's
an
factual.
example of networking that, you know, I kind of took a loss in those areas, and I learned from it. It's just like, okay, you can't be out here trying to help everybody out, even if they do truly got the potential and, you know, they can be something special.
Yeah, you want people to match your efforts for sure.
Right.
I mean, Tez, you worked, you know, with photography and all that stuff. You know, ran successful studios already.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got a story for us,
like in the city we live in, a lot of people don't necessarily believe in teamwork or even, you know, helping each other out.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for a while. And there's a lot of people I see even on like the startup of doing, you know, photography or videography. And I'm always the type of person, like if I got the knowledge or I know what I'm doing, I got the experience, I'm all about giving out free game. And it's
for sure.
It's so many people that I've given free game to, and you know, they either bit the hand that fed them, or they feel as if they already knew it all.
Facts.
And sometimes it's funny to me because I sit back and watch it blow up in their face.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like people taking the wrong route with networking, a lot of people definitely, like I said, bit the hand that fed them.
Yeah.
And I always believe like networking is bigger than almost anything. 6 degrees of separation is extremely powerful, and it's all about who you know. Because there's so many people that have this skill set but still don't get to the place they feel like they've earned or deserve.
Yeah.
Maybe because they don't know anyone. You know?
Definitely.
So.
And I mean, like, to piggyback off of like what you said, some people bite the hand, you know, that fed them. I made a mistake before doing that. You know, when I do security and stuff like that. When I first got into the security game, I had this guy named Joe. He set me up real nice, you know, working with his company and stuff like that. And I worked in there so long, earned his trust, you know, all that stuff. He had me take over a whole nother club by myself type thing. Been there for a while. Things were working smooth. But then the club just was like, all right, he's charging me too much, you know? And I'm like, okay, like, what's the deal? He was like, okay, we're actually going to cut your company out. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you ain't got to do all that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he gave me a proposition. He was like, okay, so here's what you can do. You can either become head of security here or and still, you know, work security at our club, or you could just go back with Joe. And I'm like, man, what's it looking like, you know? And this is the hard part, you know, because me and Joe started off as friends first before business inquiries ever came into the aspect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, man, like, I'm struggling with this, you know?
Well, let me ask you this. Did you, like, go talk to Joe about it, or?
That's the part I'm trying to get to. So basically, I was trying to go talk to Joe, which that same day, he already found out about it. So you know what the situation looked like.
It seemed like more of a backdoor, but he was going to be upfront about the...
Exactly. And I'm like, the only reason why I popped up to that meeting that day, and he already cut us out as a company. I popped up to that meeting. He seen me there when I was at that meeting. And so Joe automatically assumed, like, boom, he backdoored me. So after that happened, you know, I took over the club at MIA because he already cut me off with the security stuff. I'm like, man. So that was one of those turning points for me, is learning how to network and how that shit works and how to maneuver. And it proved a very valuable point where communication is key, you know, because if he would have came and communicated to me and, like, asked me before assuming, you know, things could have turned out differently. But since then, I did my job to try to give back, you know, because I surely received a lot of new networks from working at MIA as head of security. You know, I've been offered jobs, offered positions. I even assumed a couple contracts, you know, and I try to pass them to him. But that's like one example of how networking has failed for me. Yeah. And took a bad turn, but it also taught me a lot, you know. It taught me through failure that communication within networking is very important.
Yes, I have a somewhat similar story. I'm not going to be too long-winded, but what you said about communication. Even like a couple years ago, I was in Atlanta, and I actually I was staying here in Ohio prior to moving out there, but I had got introduced to this manager. She flew me out to LA. We made some good work. She was like, hey, I really want to surround you with resources A through D, but I need you to be in a location where we can do this. And I told her, well, I'm in Ohio by choice, not necessity. I can move wherever to make, our situation work. Because she was talking about potentially getting me a record deal and et cetera. So anyway, moved to Atlanta. And it's just like as soon as I got out there, I wasn't hearing from her. And at the time, I was an overthinker. I was a professionalist, so I could have been easier to work with. But it kind of resulted in this, like, from my perspective, just like, her kind of going ghosting, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I knew that, like, when it came to certain conversations, like maybe I was long-winded or, seemingly difficult, but really like the situation was so surreal to me that like I just wanted everything to be perfect around it and to do everything right. But I saw the faults in my communication in those points too. And so it's like 2 years later, which was just a couple months ago, me and her, got back in communication and at least I saw where like, just the miscommunication and misunderstanding on both sides led to that situation back then because, she basically was saying that at the time she felt as though like, I, wasn't as interested in working with her or, that I was intentionally being difficult or et cetera. And in my eyes, I'm thinking that she just like, she just kind of ghosted me and just like did me how other people have did me in the past because I've had record deals come on the table. And then like next thing I know, they sell me a dream.
So past experience
and I had beat myself up over that situation for like 2 years since then because I was just always thinking about like, dang, what could I have said? What could I have done to make this go smoother?
Yeah.
And it's just like for us to have that communication a couple months ago and realize it was as simple as just like she thought I wasn't interested. I thought she wasn't interested, And we both did have personal things going on at the time, but that kind of was at the center of that device that at least had ate me up for 2 years because I knew what that situation could have put me in position in. Like it made me realize, like, damn, like you said, how essential like communication is and how detrimental miscommunication can be.
Definitely. And I mean, we can lighten up the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we getting deep into it. But let's go on the lighter side of things with networking.
Okay, so
how networking with the right person can lead to big opportunities. Like I know you guys had to have had some type of source or connection with somebody that led to a different opportunity, and brought you like different, scenarios where it bettered your life.
For sure. I'll let Martez take this.
So. Me personally, I came across a good friend of mine, Braxton, really through his brother, and working with him, it led me to get a commercial with Hilton Hotels. It led me to get, photo shoots with, was it Dave's Hot Chicken, things of that nature.
I did see that. Yeah, that was fire.
So. A lot of people don't like to see the bigger picture of things because what really got me into that role was it was a guy that was working with him before and he had asked him like, hey, I need you to come cover this camp. Yeah. And the guy was like, I can, but I can't do it for free. And he was like, I'm gonna have to charge you $1,500 to do it. And it gets to that, and what he had told him was like, what you're doing is you ruining a relationship with a lot more outcome on the back end.
Yeah,
definitely.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's always good to know your worth. But if you're not willing to do what you claim to love for free, then, and hope to get things on the back end that's bigger than what you're asking for now, then that's kind of pointless. You're ruining someone that could lead you to hundreds of thousands of dollars all because you want $1,500.
Facts. That's facts.
If I can ask a quick question, I don't want to get too off subject, but how do you balance knowing your worth and then taking opportunities? Like, how do you? Because sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes the line can be blurred.
So, with me personally, I'll put it like this: if I see that me doing something for free can lead me to either adding to my portfolio or meeting another person that can potentially get me somewhere else.
Yeah. Then
that's when you got to understand, like, all right, cool. This free job is nothing. I'll do it because I know on the other side of it, I'm gonna get it. But if you got someone that always come to you like, hey, I need you to do this for me. Hey, I need you to do that for me. Hey, I need you to do this for me. And you start to not see value in it. Like, all right, man, I done did this for you. I done did that for you. That's when you got to let them know, like, hey,
For sure.
This is what I need going forward, because a lot of people, they will use you,
Yeah.
especially if you don't go in there knowing your worth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said when I got Braxton, I let him know, like, look, yeah, I can do stuff with you. We can do stuff together, but I also got this. I also got this, and I got this.
Yes.
You know, I got other clients. I got a production studio. I got a lot of other priorities. So whenever I can fit you into my schedule, I'm all for that.
Okay,
And it's,
real.
yeah, and it's a respect thing, because he's like, yeah, that's no problem at all. So it goes back to the communication side. But if a lot of people will sell you a dream up front, all because as long as they can get what they need up out of you, they'll do that, because guess what?
Especially if they have that platform or that pet, you know.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they'll tell you this, like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna get you the exposure, this, that, and the third. But as soon as you start to tell them, like, hey, I need my money now. Yeah. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna go to the next person. They're gonna sell them the same dream. It's just the same cycle.
Because
so,
like you said, there's so many people out here with a good enough skill set to fit their needs. You know. Yeah.
So it's just all about being transparent up front. Like yeah, we can do this, but like I don't need necessarily it to be a guarantee, but I need to know, like, all right, on the outside of this, I need to be bringing in something that's going to help elevate me.
For sure.
So
I feel like that'll definitely help, you know, a lot of the aspiring photographers and et cetera. Because I feel like people more in your field or maybe the producing field and et cetera are more susceptible to those type of things. It happens with artists too. I would say like a networking thing that was real good for me. It's actually what led to me being out here in Ohio, so I would have never met y'all if I wasn't for this. I was actually staying in Mississippi in 2020, and at the time I released what was my, it's still like one of my biggest songs, Testimony. Anyway, I put all my tax money into like Instagram promotion, and it happened. Tax money, and like it happened across the eyes of Shane, who is now my brother, but at the time, obviously, I didn't know him. And all I noticed, I kept getting some DMs from a guy like saying, "Hey, bro, like hit me up, talk to me." But like at the time, his page was private. He had a weird profile picture. Like turns out it was like Trippie Redd performing and stuff, but I couldn't make it out what it was at the time. Anyway, he hit me up a couple times, so I finally went and checked out the DMs, and he was like, my brother saw Chris Brown, Trippie Redd. I'm trying to get. Serious tripping, but he was like, but anyway, I finally went and checked out his messages, and he was like, my brother saw Trippie Redd, Chris Brown, I'm trying to get you signed. And first I thought it was cap, because I'm from Mississippi, I know Ohio people around here. I've gotten the notion that I see the lack of opportunity here in comparison to other like meccas, but still like even in my eyes, just like the examples of who y'all have had come from here and what y'all still have here is opportunity to where certain statements like that, like running by somebody who know those people, it would be more believable or seem more feasible than it was to me at the time. So I was like, this guy got to be capped. But he was like, man, check out my pictures. You're going to see that I'm real. Anyway, I checked out his page. He was the real deal, man. He knew all these people. He had pictures with him. So it was crazy, bro. Like I was finna move to Atlanta to stay with my mom, just to save money to be able to invest, because I was living off an overdraft at the time. Like I'm broke as fuck. And man, the next day he got me talking to Sean Kingston. He got me talking to Neo. He got me talking to 1G. And 1G is like a guy that not everybody knows, but 1G has been around like Snoop Dogg way back in the 90s. He's been around Michael Jackson. He's been around Drake.
To the music industry.
Yeah, he's been he was Tyga's manager when Tyga had that big resurgence in 2019. And yeah, man, so I'm talking about one day I'm just working in a warehouse in Mississippi. Also at that time, I'm 22, finna be 22. So people that I went to college with, they was graduating that year. And I'm back home like broke as fuck. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't been in college in 3 years. Like I'm wondering, like I'm knowing I have the talent, but like, did I mess up? Will I ever get there? Because everybody else is seemingly progressing. Right. And like, I'm scraping crumbs here and I'm trying to make a way, but I don't see the way. And like the next day for me to be having conversation with those people, then like the next month, he's flying me out here to Ohio temporarily because it was supposed to be like in LA and stuff. And then we go to LA and I'm meeting Trippie Redd. Yeah. I'm at Sean Kingston's mansion. I'm talking to Neo people on the phone. I got to meet Tusi and all these people. I got record deals on the table. And it's just like, like you said, just the power of networking, how they can change your life. Like that was night and day. Like my life changed and what I was exposed to, changed in one phone call while I was at work. And regardless of the outcome of those situations, like that's still a situation that I'm grateful for because it put me on a completely different path. It let me know that stuff was obtainable, and it reinstilled that belief that, like, you know, I was doing the right thing and that I truly have what it takes and that I didn't make a mistake. You know what I'm talking about? Because at the time I was comparing myself to everybody else. So, and that just completely changed the course of my life also. So yeah, I mean, that's my example of how networking and just crossing paths with the right person can make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, going back to that thing where you said mistakes, I mean, I'm going to take it back a little bit. When I was younger, bro, when I was 17, you know, junior in high school, I was big in football, you know. I literally had opportunities to go to several different D1s, you know, going on trips, visits, all this stuff. I actually was in the process of getting a full ride to Cincinnati for football. And I had a lot of opportunity. And I just got caught around the wrong people at a young age. And my ass got locked up, bro. Locked up for the most absurd shit, you know, that I could think of. Yeah. And I took my time and made sure that, you know, mistake didn't define me. But I was down in the dumps, bro, because I lost all those opportunities. Thought it was all over, you know. Went to college, didn't even play football for my first year, and then COVID hit and all that stuff, you know. And once that happened, I went back home doing online schooling and things of that sort, finished that first year out. And my cousin is finally going to college, you know. And he's like, bro, like, come with me to this JUCO. And I'm like, why would I go to a JUCO that already, you know, scouted you know, not knowing the coaches or anything. And he was like, they already know you, bro. And I'm like, what you mean they already know me? They're like, they already seen you on highlight and stuff. They actually talked to me about you, you know? And I'm like thinking it's all over, you know, I'm done with football. Yeah. Sure enough, come to find out, some of the coaches that I went on those visits with, they felt bad, heard about my story, even though they cut my opportunity. They were like, go here to kind of like prove that you still got it. Yeah. And which I did. You know, I went to JUCO, balled out, literally received probably like 6 Division II full ride scholarships. Still was untouchable by the D1s. They wanted to give me partials and things of that sort still because they felt like it was a possible, you know, mistake that they were going to make, you know, because I was a troubled kid. But if I never had that opportunity or met those coaches that were going to, you know, reach out of their way to talk to this JUCO coach about this kid that is troubled, you know, I would have never made it to that place. Yeah. And that kind of gave me an insight to where you never burn the bridges that you already built. And you will always want to leave like certain situations on a good note and try to fix any kind of like mishaps that happen, you know, with that connection. Because you never know how that shit turn out on the other end. Yeah. And that was a big turning point in my life. And, you know, I never let that mistake define me, but it definitely, you know, follows behind you. And it always is that constant reminder, like, bro, you got to step it up. You got to be better, and you got to be better than your decisions. You know? And you got to really think on every decision that you make because that shit can turn in an instant. Yeah. And I feel like that part really defined what networking means to me. You know, it's really close because you never know what can happen. And one connection can lead to, you know, a lifelong success. So with that being said, did you come up with that funny topic, bro? Like, come on, bro. Like, I know you did some cringy shit as a kid, bro. I know you did.
Bro, back on his top with
it. Yeah, you gotta come with one, bro.
That was a blind side right there. That was a huge blind side. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess you can say like.
It could be a way you used to holler at girls, anything, bro.
Like you the only 10 I see.
Yeah.
Nah, not that. I don't know. Maybe we used to like have like neighborhood wrestling matches or some shit like
Word.
that. Yeah,
like some WWE type shit.
Yeah, some WWE type.
I ain't gonna count, bro.
Like, I'm talking about like not just I'm talking about we had big old speaker with intros.
Word.
Yeah.
This the man that watched Monday Night Raw.
Oh yeah,
on
we
So y'all
Oh,
coming,
not now, not
Y'all
now.
used
Not
to-
see, look, that's cringy now. You know.
y'all coming out to the imaginary crowd and all that.
Yeah,
You know
on
what I'm talking
everything.
about?
Yeah, I was
Dun-dun-dun.
I was a reigning WWE champ. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, all right.
Them folks defending title belts after school every day, right?
Bruh, hey, bro. We used to go to they used to sell them belts. We used to go to Walmart, I had the belts and everything.
Word.
I
Yeah.
wanted them, bro. I got a little funny subject on that same note, bro. Like I ain't really have. I was kind of secluded a little bit growing up, and I ain't really had like no brother or sister my age.
Mhm.
But I love WWE too. So what I used to do, like I used to have WWE fight, but it wasn't with no person, bro. I fight my pillars. But then what I did,
Hey, no. You're not the only one. You're not the only one, bro.
Hey, look,
I used to practice my finishers on the
yeah,
pillow,
bro.
boy.
Like I would draw like, and I'm surprised like my mama ain't see this and like get on my head because like I would draw like a big ass, muscle man on the pillow and stuff, like a whole little life size on the pillow, and like I ain't gonna lie, bro. I got tired of winning every time. So I used to like start letting it slam me. Like I like jump up on it and then fall back, fuck myself up a little bit. Like, oh shit. One time I about killed myself because there was a little copy table to the left and it had like a real sharp edge on it. And like it was one of them times I was like, bro, I'm winning too much. I gotta let bro, I WWE championship needs some tension. Shut up.
All right. I got something more for y'all, bro. All right, so you gotta name a story to where you received the worst ass whooping by your mama.
I go.
Look,
So
Ted's a
all right.
badass
So
kid.
oh yeah, middle school. Yeah, I was class clown. So 7th grade, I played baseball first time, and I was so excited to play, but we ended up only playing like 3 games because everything got postponed or canceled because of weather. So my 8th grade year, I didn't want to play, but my mom was like, "You're playing," so I was good. I was
Yeah.
good. So I went to tryouts and I basically like didn't go for real. Like I was missing catches on purpose, throwing the ball super inaccurate. So I didn't.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, so I didn't make the team, right?
Yeah.
So on the lunchroom, they put the list of people that made the team, and I wasn't on the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read the whole list though. My name was at the bottom. It said, "Come to the coach's office if your name is right here," because the coach was like, "I know you good. I've seen you play last year."
Yeah.
Damn.
So what I did was I skipped the second tryout, and I went to go play basketball at my friend Micah's house because we used to have 2-on-2 tournaments there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We couldn't play because Micah got in trouble, so we went to Barnett.
Yeah.
And I remember I was walking with my friend Michi and this one girl, and we was walking to Barnett, and I seen my mom drive super fast down the side street. When I tell you, I took off running the same side street because she was going this way. I went this way. I was going to turn this way. Man, she spun around. She spun the block, and she pulled up right in front of us, and she made me take my shoes off, and she smacked me with my shoes like, "Get in the car."
God,
Boots on
no.
demons.
But this ain't even the voice. So we get there, right? I'm thinking like she's gonna trip for a little bit. She's like, all right, it's no big deal. Bro, she had a nerve to call my dad. I said, "Why you do that?" She whooped my ass with the Xbox cord. Then my dad whooped my ass with the Xbox cord.
They switched off on you.
Tore
That's
that boy out the
insane.
frame.
Man, hey, bro, I couldn't sleep on my ass for days.
Man.
Look, I ain't even got no specific one.
Hey, then you know what I did after? I played with the little spring thing by the door after I got done crying.
I used to be on that one heavy too.
Oh God.
But like, I ain't got no specific one, bro. It wasn't my mom that used to tear me up like that, but she got me a couple times though. I ain't gonna lie, my whole family, like I got community ass whooping, like my whole family. But like my dad, I ain't even got no specific one. I'm just saying, but he used to tear me up. Like I used to cry before. If I knew I was getting a whooping, I'm crying before I even get hit. Like he'd be like, "Boy, come in here."
He already knew it was coming.
He like, "Be quiet, I ain't hit you yet." You know,
I'm gonna give you a reason to cry.
yeah, bro. So, yeah, but that he got me right, boy, for sure. I still was hard. I wasn't a bad kid, bro. I was just like the class. I was real goofy and all that.
Yeah, that was
you know
me.
what I'm saying?
I ain't doing no stupid shit like a lot of people I know.
I was a brave little ass kid, bro. So one time, man, I got on my bike, out in the neighborhood. We used to live in this place called North Lake. And I had like an older brother, moms grew up together and stuff like that. He watched me held me when I was born and all that shit. And he riding outside with his older friends. He probably like 8 years older than me. And so I see him, I catch up with him, like, where y'all going? They riding outside the neighborhood. So I'm following them, like, yeah, I'm gonna go with y'all, So they like, nah, you can't come, little man. I'm like, what you mean I can't come? They were like, never mind, come with us. So I'm riding with them and stuff, and then all of a sudden we get outside the neighborhood. We probably get like 3 or 4 blocks down, hit like two lefts, and then literally go in the cut, down some alley. I don't know where I'm at, They start taking off on my ass. I'm like, bro, what? They left me in the dust, bro, like dust. I ain't know where to go.
Like straight like that.
And so somehow I end up at this place called Rhymez Market. And I go inside the store. I'm talking to the employees and stuff, like, can I call my mom? I don't know her number, nothing, bro. Some random ass lady come up to me and she like, actually, I know your mom. I'm like, oh, you do? So she takes my bike, put that in her car, takes me back to my crib. I'm like, oh shit, she really know my mama.
Oh yeah.
Like,
this ain't no play. This ain't no play.
I took a risk. I'm like, bro, I don't know how the fuck to get home. You know what I mean? So I get in the house or whatever. They talking or whatever. She give me that look, that mom look. And she like, yeah, go upstairs. So when she leave, bro, she come up, she knock on my door. I'm like, yeah. And I'm already knowing what's coming. And I see her walk in with this pink belt, bro. That motherfucker had diamonds on it.
Oh.
I remember, bro. Oh, God. The diamond belt. Oh, God.
I know what you're talking about, too.
Yeah.
Bro, talked about that shit for centuries, bro. She whooped my ass for real. Like, that shit was the worst ass whooping ever, bro. Even worse than the time she broke a paddle on
You
my
had some
ass,
marks
bro.
on you after
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
for sure.
I done had that, too, bro. You see what a belt done got imprinted
Yeah, the
on you.
welts in your hand. Hell yeah.
Hey, but getting back, more to I guess you could say on the business side of things, and more to a intellectual subject. We was talking about the power of networking and et cetera, and we kind of dove into this a little bit with our stories. But let's talk about some losses that we faced along the journey, or our journey when it comes to our careers and our aspirations, and we're gonna talk about the losses themselves. How we've been molded from them, of course, but also I want us to be true to ourselves and acknowledge some subconscious effects of them that we still need to work on and address. So,
Okay.
Does anybody have a particular business loss that they would like to speak on first?
I mean, I can speak on something that people already know.
Yeah.
One of the security guys that got killed in our city, I
Yeah.
didn't really know him too well.
Yeah.
But I worked with him at Palmer's before. Crazy dude, he was always on the hinges,
Yeah.
and he was really about that stuff, And me working in the security field and knowing some shit like that can happen at any point in time,
Yeah.
seeing that loss, and then knowing how close we were, I'm literally standing side by side with this man, and we protected the club together and things of that sort.
Yeah.
Didn't really know him too much personally outside of work, but just knowing how close to home that hit and how it affected the city, it just made me a lot more on edge, within my work. And every day I step out that door now, when I'm going to work whatever club or whatever venue, whatever contract, and it makes me, you feel me, be grateful that I can, walk out that door and pray to God that I come back, And with that being said, like, it just made me be more appreciative of the things around me. So that's like one of the losses that I took, and just kind of like gain more of a situational awareness for myself when it comes to my business.
For sure. I would say mine would be, and I'll probably piggyback to, something that I said earlier, with the subject I was talking earlier when it came to networking. Just at that period of time, like about 5 years ago when I had those record deals on the table and I was brushing shoulders with certain people. And like I said, just to go from, essentially nothing when it just comes to connection-wise or anything like concretely giving me hope or showing me that, I can pave a way with this, to being so close to where the deals are right there. I'm supposed to fly back out to LA next week and and sign, and you finna have songs with Chris Brown and et cetera, which sound far-fetched me saying this to y'all now, but it was actually a thing that was potentially finna happen, that was curating. And to essentially kind of have that as quick as it got presented for me, and like I told you, it was night and day. It's as quick as like everything fell apart.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons that didn't have anything to do with me. And I'm back home in Mississippi broker than I was before, DoorDash and just trying to scrape up some money. That's around COVID really kind of over back then, but I'm still wearing the mask just because I was ashamed to see, for people to see my face. I'm back home because I never spoke on what was going on, but I was posting myself out there around certain people so you could tell something was bubbling. And that's something that really plagued me and messed me up it took me about 3 years to mature from that situation.
Yeah.
Just because I saw how, whether I was aware of it or not, like, I felt like that was my closest, call to others and to myself of like, I can do this. You know what I'm talking about? Look at what I had on the table. And then I felt like for the longest I was scratching to get, like to be 25 and you working so hard to get back at a place that you were in when you were 22 and you don't even know how you're going to get back there. Not even into having a deal, but just having the potential to be there.
You never took a loss like that.
Yeah, and that really plagued my mind and et cetera, for years. But now I look at it differently because I see the beauty in that.
Yeah, definitely.
I just see that, like, I see the ways that I wasn't ready, outside of just as an artist, but as a person to even be in that position, when I got there. Because, when it comes to being an artist and just like how you got to navigate life, or even being a human being when you're in a place of power, a place of success, and how you got to navigate life in that position, like, you have a certain maturity level internally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it took that darkness, 4 years and other things, contributing to that darkness too, for me to have that awakening that was necessary. Mm-hmm. And also, like, as an artist, I'm so much better now than I was then. So I thought I was ready. And even still now, I got to catch myself because I'll look back present day, like, sometimes it'll cross my mind like, damn, look at what you was close to then and you still, but I got so much more to offer now. Like, I could have easily gotten in that position and flamed out because what did I really have in my bag? I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. And so, that's how it's molded me for the better now. Because like I said, it's really the darkness that came from it, not even that situation itself. Just the new mindset and et cetera that I have about everything is just molded me in a certain way that's deeper than the music. And I'm appreciative for that. And
that's deep,
so,
man.
yeah.
For real. I understand.
I know with me personally, at the end of 2024, I put my trust in some pastors and relocated my production studio to a way better area.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we right across the street from multi-million-dollar homes. It's a bigger area, bigger studio. So basically, we decided to sublease to these people. We were paying them rent. They weren't paying the owner. We put in close to $100,000 into this business just for the owner of the building to walk in.
Yeah.
Say you got to go. And it definitely didn't take it lightly. I spent days in my bed, not showering, barely eating.
Yeah.
Not even wanting to figure out the next move. Just like kind of just accepting the defeat.
I felt that loss for you, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I did.
And it's like, I learned that there's no integrity in business.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of started to trust people less. But yeah, that's a huge loss I've taken. But like I said, I'm still trying to bounce back from it, still trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
But financially, took a huge hit. Mentally, took a huge hit.
Yeah.
I wanted to give up, but I had to force myself out of my comfort zone and tell myself, like, I can sit here and I continue to lose.
Yeah.
Or you just get back up and continue to move forward and figure something out, because, like, things happen for a reason, Like you said, you missed out on those opportunities, but you could have possibly burnt out, you know?
Right.
Now you're more wise, and I just been trying to look at the brighter side of the situation. Like yeah, I might have lost this now, but what maybe the studio isn't what I need right now. Maybe that was a distraction from what's coming a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now.
Potentially clientele and other creative things that, don't require like the studio on the business end, but just more focus on your, photography potentially. I also what you finna say?
You feel like you like learn like some lessons out of that? Like what to do better, like tell the audience like kind of somewhat of the situation and how they can, kind of take steps
business
forward.
Wise, like I said, there's no real integrity in business.
Yeah.
In any business deal, there's always someone that's just looking to get theirs.
Yeah.
Right? So more so, even you can be as transparent as you want, you don't know the full truth. So always try to get as much of the truth as you possibly can before you dive in deep into anything. Because like I said, you can lose out and someone could just walk away with 15 grand and don't care, but
and you damn really gotta sit on your hands, can't do shit about it type
thing. So it's just really just making sure you know the facts, making sure the black and white is that's on the paper is 100% true.
One thing that I want to quickly point out that I noticed, just from, somebody that knows you and, witnessing from afar what you went through and how, but mainly I'm focusing on now, your reaction towards it is just the resilience and the internal fortification that you've showed. Because I told you, like, the other day on the phone, like, just due to, kind of the space I'm in now and what I've endured during my career, usually I'm the one that's always, like, moving off a blind faith and keeping myself going, but seeing the resilience that you have and just, like, the refusal to let that cloud your mental. Because to do anything physically or with our crafts, we have to mentally be in the right space. So that resilience is something that I've noticed. And I feel like maybe potentially you learned a level of resilience and fortification within yourself that maybe wasn't aware beforehand because you weren't put to that fire beforehand.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I would like to just kind of hit on that same note just to, some advice for artists out there. And outside of just that one situation, those, record deals and those type of situations in 2020. I've talked to Martez about it. I've had multiple situations since, whether it's managers or et cetera, people like once again saying, hey, bro, you got this, you're going to do this. I'm going to put you in this place, put you in this place, and essentially just, feeding you those hopes, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Just feeding you those dreams. And then, like you said, the integrity not being there. And sometimes it's not sometimes it's not them, sometimes things are just as simply as, things going on in their life or outside forces just not allowing them situations to be. But one fault that I will put on myself, because I used to look at the world, I used to be like, why me? Why this didn't work out?
Always.
Or why that,
Always. Yeah.
Oh, they didn't see this in me. They didn't, but even like I said, in those situations, yes, they maneuver that way, but I do say, like, with the entertainment industry, a lot of what matters is your aura, your energy,
Why not me?
Your presence,
Why not me? Oh,
your
God.
presence in those moments. And so, like, when I used to be in those rooms around those celebrities and et cetera, I was in there with the presence and the mentality, and I know I was giving off the energy of I need them instead of they need me. And if you're an entertainer, like, you want to walk into that room and take control and be a star, even if you aren't that star.
Know your worth.
Right.
But I didn't know that, like, even though I was right there, like the fact that they had flew this kid out from Mississippi who still realistically didn't have any fan base or the numbers to justify me being out there in that position, like that should have been proof enough to me to like let me know that I'm a star and for me to embody that and have that energy with me in that room, because there's so many talented people out there. You need something that's not concrete. You just need that it factor that people can just read off of you when it comes to the entertainment business for them to like make them want to jump and cross that line. And I see to where like I was in those rooms, and even though that should have been all the proof that I needed, I feel like I needed that line to be signed. I used to be out there. I used to be like, bro, I'm out here. It feel real. I feel 95% of the way, but I still was having no talk to myself. Like I was telling myself, until that line is dried, like I won't feel like it's surreal. And I do feel like I kind of manifested some of that stuff to happen. Like maybe not literatively, but I see to where like, as an artist and et cetera, just I could have carried myself different to make those people buy into me more as a product. And I know I didn't give off of that. So that's something I would say as an artist, like, don't feel as don't be waiting for other people to be the hero of your story, even though connections is necessary. And so many things, especially when the entertainment industry is 80% business, 20% talent. So at times that'll make you feel like you just need these other people, these other variables, but like you can be the hero of your own story. And I realized in my past where I was looking so much outwardly that I never value what I can do on myself. And I definitely could have been further if I knew that. And I still have to work on that to this day, honestly.
Facts. And I mean, like, you know, we definitely threw out a lot of facts there, bro. And if we didn't hit fully on what the importance of networking is, I don't know what we did, you know. At the end of the day, like this social media, you know, era and things that we're going through, like you can literally make money just by networking, you know. So we're gonna transition to something else in the last couple minutes. So basically, we're going to go into how we met each other, you know. What was our first thoughts when we met each other? You know, end on something a little bit more lighter. You could go first, Tez, if you want.
Actually, I met both of y'all in my studio.
Word. Yeah. Oh, God.
I think it was probably like a YouTube video or something like that.
Yeah, that's how I met him at the, me being, like, y'all know more people, you know, from out here, but me not being from here, and especially when it comes to people, like, around my age, like, or just creatives or whatever. Like, I just wasn't exposed to, like, you know, those people. So, I first met you at, like, a YouTube shoot. It was, like, key. It was key stuff. Nah, it wasn't even that. It was key stuff.
Yeah.
It was, like in 2023.
Yeah, okay.
And I walked in that bit, I was like, oh, I ain't gonna lie, there was some vibes up in there. I was like, this one ain't been hiding at. You know what I'm talking about? And I used to see, bro, like, I could tell, like, bro held some weight. I could tell, like, he was somebody, because, like, everybody was talking to him. He had the camera, like, he was just kind of walking around, like, you know.
Oh,
the whole time, it's his studio and all that shit.
Every time.
That's how I met, bro. But, like, secretly inside, bro, like, I was always glad that I met him. And what I never told you, but, like, you know, you and, like, Deal and I know it's finna be you now. Like, you know, in my prayers to God, bro, I be praying, like, y'all have been vital within this past year and a half since I met y'all to my artist career. So I'm glad that we crossed paths like that. And it was coincidental.
Yeah,
I almost never came that day.
I mean, shit, I met you, Tez, like, somebody posted on their story, like, okay, this guy's doing a free shoot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what? Free shoot? And I look at your stuff, I'm like, oh, man, this dude taking some live-ass pictures for real. I'm like, all right, bet, you know. And then I meet up with you to do the shoot for your portfolio. And I remember it was the moment where you had to teach me how to model correctly, you know, in the pictures and shit like that. Dude turned on some Drake music. I'm like, all right, I could vibe with this, you know?
Yeah.
And he literally showed me how to pose properly and stuff like that. And ever since then, we've been cool, locked in, seen each other, at that 10v1, things of that sort, talked about business. But yeah, ever since then, bro, it's been live. And then I met you at the 10v1.
Yeah. That's what I was finna say. Like, I was telling him, like, man, I knew when I met you, even though we ain't even had that many conversations, that I want to, like, work with you to some dynamic. Because, like, even when I was talking about, like, how a star got to carry himself in the entertainment industry, like, I ain't gonna lie, bro, I was looking at you, I was just watching you talk and stuff like that, and just how you carried yourself, that, like, that confidence and, like, just your aura was radiating. I was just like, bro, like, I still need to embody more of that. Even though you were just being you.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to, like, that's how you need to be, like, in this realm, whether it's podcasting, anything. You got to have that presence that's deeper than just your talent and et cetera. So I don't know. That stuck out to me, just how you carried yourself, your confidence, your conversation and stuff. And you were just cool as hell. So I was just like, bro, me and bro gonna work to some degree type shit. So,
yeah, don't get it twisted. I still be trying to work on that. Sometimes I be, you know, getting a little quiet, shy, all that type of stuff. But yeah, it took real time. It took me doing that other podcast for real, to kind of like open up. But yeah, I mean, y'all got anything else?
Hey, we won't be here without me.
All right. Give me some props.
Brian the GOAT and your mom's a hoe.
All right, now cut that out. All right, that was episode 1 of the Strike Your Core.
Hey, that was episode 1. He can't talk. That was episode 1 of the Strike a Chord Podcast, man. Me, Rhymez, the real Delta baby. We got Martez, man. We got Odell, you know what I'm saying? And hey, man, looking forward to these next episodes with y'all coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Get us out of Ohio. It's too damn cold.